Welcome back to the Contract Close podcast with Adam Bursztein. Adam, how are you today?
I'm doing excellent, sir.
We spent a little bit of time before this call started talking about what are you up to this morning, and we're going to be diving into pocket listings today. So what is the definition of a pocket listing in real estate?
Definition of a pocket listing in real estate, for me, I've been doing this business 20 plus years now, I would say, is a listing that you have an agreement with an owner at a specified price to bring them a sale that you are not putting on the market or necessarily in the MLS, to make it a little more exclusive of an opportunity for a seller to list with you.
And now who decides to have that pocket listing? Is it the agent recommends it? Does the client bring it to you?
I would say it could go both ways, to be honest with you. Some people would like a little more scrutiny or privacy, and depending on the purchase price or the sales price of that listing has a lot to do with it as well.
Have you noticed more pocket listings over the last year?
Over the last year, there's always, when we talk about pocket listings, there are more, there's less inventory on the market. I want to start with that, than there has been in a very long time. So pocket listings are like gold right now. So in this particular market that we're in 2021, it's very nice to have pocket listings.
How does a realtor go about creating a pocket listing? Like, how do you let people know that, hey, I have this pocket listing and it's for sale if it's not going to go on the MLS?
That's when it comes down to like good experience and having a good real estate broker who has a nice network of buyers and other agents. You need both. So if you have a good mailing list and you have a good network team, that's when you do that. And a lot of people call me, like I'm showing property just today or yesterday, for instance, and somebody says, hey, do you have a pocket listing in Williams Island? And I say, yeah, I actually do, because it's being built, it's under construction, but I sold that owner another place already, and he just happens to be selling it. So I created a pocket listing. So I said, hey, you need to sell your place, Mr. Seller, and give me the opportunity while you're doing this to sell it as a turnkey opportunity for somebody else. Pocket listing.
Now, you mentioned a little bit regarding a potential seller wanting maybe a little bit more scrutiny over who's coming into the home, a little bit more privacy. What are some other good reasons that a client should consider a pocket listing?
Why should a client? Sometimes you can drive a price higher. There's the word I was looking for was scarcity. So sometimes the scarcity in the market can draw higher demand, and it's all in marketing that property correctly as a pocket listing. Doesn't mean you can't list it. It just means it's not going to be blown up all the way on Zillow and Realtor.com and every social site. It's going to be more of what we call curated content to the correct person.
Now, how exactly would you be curating that content? How are we marketing a pocket listing versus throwing it up on Zillow for thousands of people to see?
I mean, some people think that's a good program, which I believe it is. I think you should attack everything to the best of your abilities. But sometimes you have really special properties or just difficult or different situations, whatever it may be. So if we're talking about pocket listings, which we are, you hit your sphere of influence first. You hit your network of realtors that that also work with whatever that type of product that you're selling. I mean, I do commercial and residential, so I do a lot of pocket listings in commercial real estate because it's very important. That's where you're more guarded. And in residential, you're just marketing it to the correct group of talented buyers in the pool of buyers, I would say.
From the agent standpoint, what are the advantages and disadvantages of having a pocket listing?
There's no disadvantage. The advantages or the pro behind that would be it gives you a little more clout in the neighborhood. I don't know how else to say that correctly. It's nice to have off market or pocket listings. So I enjoy that. I've owned URLs, websites with the name offmarketinvest.com. I sold that URL, but it was mine. And why? Because everybody wants something that's off market that's not attainable to somebody else. I guess that's the point.
And then from the seller standpoint, what are some of the disadvantages of having a pocket listing, beyond not everyone's going to see it, which might keep the price a little bit lower than if there was that, public bidding war?
Yeah, when less eyes on something means less opportunities for a sale. Maybe it sits on the market longer. So that your outreach program has to be pretty strong if you have a pocket listing. Or sometimes you have a pocket listing, it's somebody who doesn't really want to sell, perhaps. They give you a high number and they say, hey, bring me a buyer if you get this. I have a specific person like that right now. Is a great house in Aventura, on a golf course in a single family home with like the best lot and the biggest house, and he wants $2.5 million, let's say. And if he gets that number, he'll sell. If he doesn't, and he won't list with anybody because he knows too many people. So that's a pocket listing.
Do pocket listings perform better depending upon the agent?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course. If you're not a go-getter, you should not take pocket listings.
And that might be a situation where the client's describing what you just described and saying, if you can do this, I will sell. But if that agent's if he's not a go-getter, if he's not well connected, it's not going to sell anyway. You're not going to be able to bring an offer in at 2.5.
Yeah, then I would just anybody can list fake everything. I could list my house today for whatever and say, hey, bring me that number and I'll do it. Or did somebody, maybe that's like a seller who's not really a seller. I don't typically try to work with people like that after 20 years. Like a new agent in the business might get caught and be fooled by that type of thing, and that doesn't faze me.
Do pocket listings perform better than a listing on the MLS, or is it a house by house basis?
Yeah, house by house. I don't know. Depends on the market's really crazy right now, so it'll sell if you just have a good either social or online media presence or a good mailing list. You can really sell things internally very, very quickly now. And obviously, there's nothing wrong with Zillow and putting your property on the market because you are going to advertise it to the masses. And how can that hurt? Unless it's overpriced and it's not remodeled and it's going to sit on the market for 360 days and then it turns into 740 days on the market. And then you've burned up your listing, and that would be bad. So you got to look at every case by case.
Is a pocket listing sort of in between point of a for sale by owner and working with an agent taking it public? Is there a reduced commission for the agent?
Nah, listen, I had a real estate teacher 20 years ago who told me he charges 7% commission and not 6 or 5%, whatever the norm was then, because he felt he was a better, more superior, talented real estate broker than the other guys out there, and his listings sold for more money and faster. And he used to get 7% listing, and I was like, wow, this guy's amazing, And that was in 2000, and this guy was teaching school, so he was doing it, probably like in the 80s or 90s, let's say. And then the discount brokerage just started coming around and devaluing the business, which I don't agree with. Yes, it is hard to pay a large commission out. But if somebody does a good service and they brought you more money, or, then, there is a cost of doing business. I always set our commissions the same. It doesn't matter. Pocket listing, non-pocket listing, you work with us, this is what it is, and that's how we do it.
What are ways that a pocket listing can help a client maintain their privacy?
Yeah, it's not putting out people's addresses out there, and listing something. When something goes live, technology is very good right now, and it'll list everything it can find about you, down to social media profiles and everything else, your home address, everything. So if privacy is important, then you work on a pocket listing situation. When we're working with Compass, which is my company I work with, we have a lot of in-house deals that are pocket listings within Compass. So that's like a way of doing it as well, where we can share and market it within our own Compass community. So that's a big reason to work with Compass, work with Bursztein Equity Advisor. I guess I should mention that as well.
From what you know and what you've heard, how prevalent have pocket listings been, in South Florida over the last 6 to 9 months?
Yeah, I mean, their weight in gold alone, just to be able to call your own buyers that you have and say, "Hey, I got a pocket listing," and then you can save commission on a sell side, possibly like that as well. If you're able to bring in your own, when you're able to manage both sides of the transaction, sometimes there's an opportunity to help with a commission here and there, depending on how much equity they have in their house or what our managers at Compass let us do. But we're always willing to work on something.
Are the contracts the same for a pocket listing as a listing on the open market?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, absolutely. There's just an extra box that says "Do not list this on the MLS," basically, and then you cannot share with Zillow or whatever else they call it. So yeah.
Have you found that pocket listings are typically overpriced?
Probably. I think that's probably a good, I mean, I don't know about overpriced. I mean, if you have a house that says pocket listing, I mean, normally you're treating it more as a gold and as a baby. So they're going to command a premium just in general because it's usually a special property. I mean, I mean, it even depends on what it is. And you know, you can work in any market you want in real estate. I could have off market foreclosures, because that's a specialty business, right? And I can also have off market luxury waterfront opportunities, which I do. So being pocket listing depends on who you're working with, I think, like that's just, to me, that's the way I look at it, because anybody can take a listing and anybody can price anything anywhere they want. I sold something last year to a client for $650 that he thought he was overpaying for. And he called me 3 days ago and he says, "Hey man, list my house for $1.5 million. Literally own the property less than 13 months. And I was like, "Why?" And he says, "Well, my neighbor just listed for 1.1 and this other guy listed for 1.2. My house is beautiful, listed for 1.5. And I said, "Okay, sure. Let's list it for 1.5 million and let's see what we get." Because I also don't want to turn away an opportunity for a listing, but knowing that, wow, that is really overpriced and pretty egregious that this particular person would think that when he paid 650, he's like, "Adam, I'm paying too much money for this property." And 1 year later, because of COVID, he's like, "List for 1.5." Now, 1.5 million, let's just say we sold it for 1.3 million and he paid 7. There's like a lot of profit in there. That's like $500,000 in profit. And those are just rough numbers. So, I mean, that would be an extreme case of something. Okay. Whereas I could hold it as a pocket listing, but it's an overpriced listing. Why would I want to hold a 1.5 million? I personally would rather project that to Zillow and everybody else, and other agents be like, "This guy Adam's crazy. He's got a crazy listing for $1.5 million." But you don't know who's going to be looking at it who say, "You know what? Today's a crazy market. It's COVID world. And somebody might give me 1.1 or 1.2. I listed a commercial property where somebody was going to buy it for, let's just say 350,000. And these numbers are pretty close. And we had it appraised for 450,000. And I just wrote an offer because I listed it at 500,000, thinking we were going to negotiate. And it ends up being a cash deal, more than what this guy originally would have taken, because and I helped him get maybe $80,000 or $100,000 more, and the seller was willing to take less. And I said, "Don't do that. Let's get it appraised. Let's do the right thing, and then work it." And then I did the same thing with I took a listing from another thing, and they had it listed at 7 and change. And it was an older looking thing. And I convinced the owner to put like 20,000 into it and let's list it at the same price. But she had agreed before to let me list it for less than 700, let's say, right? But we listed it for more and we made the property look better in staging it. And we're getting almost full price for that property. So all these things have so much to do with everything when you're talking about pocket listings or with just staging and listing a property.
Now, the commercial side, are pocket listings very similar to residential, or is it a completely different animal?
Completely different animal. Commercial listings are very private most of the time. I mean, you want to put it out there, but a lot of these people, for whatever reason, when I say people, I mean sellers of commercial buildings, like it to be more private. And there's really not a good even source for commercial properties, because The commercial real estate game is very competitive because it's an investment market of people using it for residual income and different 1031 and legal tax things. So it can become very highly competitive, and they're looking at cap rates, which means that they're looking at what kind of returns they get for them. And that is different than what most people are buying for primary ownership experience in residential.
Of your business over the last 10 years, what percentage would you attribute to pocket listings?
That's a hard thought. I don't know, maybe 20% of my business, probably, I mean, we always carry some pocket listings anyway. And, one thing that we do is we try, like if we're selling a community like Williams Island, and even if we have listings that are out there, we'll even call them pocket listings. Like we'll be showing with another agent. So if you're selling your house and you live in, let's say, Williams Island community in Aventura, we always have extra keys, and we'll say, oh, you know what? You didn't call me about this one, but I have a listing in this building. Let me go show you that one. And we open extra doors that way. And I do that all the time, and that's kind of like a pocket listing when it's not really a pocket listing.
Well, Adam, we just hit April. What are your plans for Q2 for Equity Advisor Team?
Equity Advisor Team wants to shoot in the 80s in golf. First and foremost, we're looking for a correct and repeatable swing. And then for that, we're just looking, we just ran our numbers for us. I think we're close to $30 million in business in the first quarter, which is like really great numbers for us, almost record breaking for a quarter. So we're looking to just continue that trend, get better, and just move forward. We got some big things going on with Compass for listings that we're going to be doing. One thing that I'll close on about this pocket listing thing, which is something that I didn't mention. So if somebody made it all the way to the end of this podcast, here's the bonus material. I was just told today that I can go after more expensive listings in Compass, like off-market opportunities, which we would call pocket listings. For homes that are maybe 10 million, 15, 20 million, waterfront properties where we have partnerships with like Rolls-Royce and Ferrari and different yacht companies where they're looking for houses to host events. So if you're a seller and you have a nice waterfront listing or a big house, you can hire me to list your property. We will throw a party like they just did one with Ferrari and another, and for a private invite group to Ferrari guys waiting on certain Ferraris. And when they came to see the Ferraris at this property, one of the guys bought the house that was there. So it is used as a listing tool now and for pocket listings as well. So I have at my disposal as a Compass person to be able to offer somebody that opportunity where I could do something very fancy at their house. So now if you call me in the next 2 weeks, I will have an opportunity to bring some boats to your house. You need to have 100 foot of dock space, and we're doing a collection of Rolls Royces. So this would be a very high-end party with Rolls Royce and a yacht company where we have the opportunity to showcase your home in a private pocket listing situation.
Well, we're going to get this podcast out immediately so we can fill those next 2 weeks up. Our viewers can find this show and our past episodes by searching Adam Bursztein Contract to Close podcast on YouTube. We want to get our subscriber numbers up. Adam, how can folks connect with you directly for more information about a pocket listing or any other real estate questions?
EquityAdvisorTeam.com is our website, or you can check us out at Equity Advisor Team on Instagram, or Adam Bursztein 305-409-7556 is my personal cell phone. Thank you so much. I'm sorry for wearing a wrinkled shirt today. I just realized that this was a little wrinkled, and I will do better next time for you.
Hey, you can take it right to the driving range, work out the kinks.
That's what I was trying to do.
Adam, we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, sir.